Hi, my name is Andrew Wilson and I'm a business planning specialist. I help social and environmental enterprises to write professional business plans, which help them to start or fund their business. Okay, so this is the first video in a 4-part series all about social enterprise. And to begin, in this video, we'll cover what actually is a social enterprise. So what's it all about? And to understand that, we need to first look at where it's come from. And it's come from two different ends of a spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, traditional profit-making companies are being driven to explore more social purpose. So their customers now expect it from them, their employees seek it from them, and even shareholders are increasingly conscious of where their investments are going, and they're expecting to see organisations delivering not just profit or a return, but also a social or environmental benefit. At the other end of the spectrum, traditional not-for-profits and charities are being driven to find more sustainable revenue streams. So grants and donations are becoming increasingly competitive. It can take a huge amount of resources and constantly be seeking funding and support for ongoing operations. So they're looking to find more sustainable revenue streams. And that's where the two then meet in the middle, where social enterprise comes in. And there's two key components of a social enterprise. The first one being it must have a core social and or environmental mission at the heart of what they are doing. And it must have a sustainable business model. So being able to be funded on its own merits without reliance upon grants and donations. So there's many different ways that you can deliver on your social or environmental mission. And these are sort of called impact models. So the first one is the business model itself. So what you actually do on a day-to-day basis that creates a positive impact. The second one is mobilisation, which is providing people with jobs who have typically in the past found it hard to find stable employment. And the third one is money. So this could be money or it could be time or materials, but basically it's where you run a business that then gives back some of its surplus time or profit or expertise or resources, materials to a social or environmental cause. And we'll go through a few examples of what these look like in practice. So the first example is a well-known example called Who Gives a Crap? And basically what they do is they're in the business of recycled toilet paper. Aside from the fundamental model of what they're doing, which is having an impact, they also have a commitment to donate 50% of their profits to help build toilets and improve sanitation. So on last count, actually, they've now donated about $10 million to their linked causes. So having a really fantastic impact outside of just what they do on a day-to-day basis. Soft Landing is another really interesting example. Their business model is mattress recycling. So in fact, in 2021, they recycled 538,000 mattresses. So think about all of that waste that's been taken out of landfill. They also employ, so for mobilisation, they also employ 79% of their workforce from people who previously experienced barriers to employment. So having a really good social impact as well as their environmental impact as well. They're also a not-for-profit, so that means 100% of their profits go towards back into delivering their mission. The third example is the Sociable Weaver. So they're in the business of building sustainable houses. They build houses with a minimum 7-star energy rating. They recycle more than 90% of their waste materials. So really aiming to reduce the environmental impact of housing. But then on top of that, they also donate 300 trees being planted for every house that they build, and they volunteer their time each year to remove 300 kilograms of coastal waste from Australian beaches. So helping deliver an additional linked impact outside of the core of what they do. Different enterprises do things in different ways. As you can see here, there's a real mix of how you can have an impact. The important thing is to think this through carefully and look at how you can get that balance right, both from an impact perspective and an ongoing sustainable funding perspective to get that right for your purpose. It's also flexible for legal structures. You can operate a social enterprise using a company legal structure. You can operate a social enterprise using a not-for-profit. There's also a hybrid in between. So it could be things like having a company as a wholly owned subsidiary of a not-for-profit, or dual entities and this kind of thing. So there's different ways of doing it, but the important thing is meeting those requirements of a core social or environmental impact and a sustainable business model. So key takeaways: first two things, must have a social or environmental mission at its core and a sustainable revenue stream, not reliant on grants or donations. There's a spectrum between profit and purpose, and you need to look at getting that balance right. And it's flexible in terms of the impact models and the legal structures that can be used to deliver on the mission. Thanks for watching. This was the first video in a 4-part series about social enterprise. Up next is where to start when exploring social enterprise opportunities. If this has been helpful, click the link below to stay in touch. Please also subscribe, like, or share. Thank you.